Hey guys, today I want to talk about some books, some TV shows and some movies, so let's get into that. I'm going to start out with the books first. The first book I've read is A Monster Calls. I don't have it with me because I got it from the library, but I have to say I really love this book. I'm actually thinking about getting it myself because it's just beautiful. I think the story is really well told, I would say, so I don't know, I just really liked it, to be honest, and I think I cried the first time on page 30 or something like that, so that's really early for me because I usually don't cry for books. So that was yeah, very emotional. I have a very similar experience, so I guess that kind of influences my opinion, but I think it's just a beautiful book. I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. And if you don't know, the book is about a boy and his mother is sick, and one day he starts seeing a monster that is actually a tree outside of his house, and the monster starts talking to him and starts to tell him stories, basically. So the next book I've read, I actually have it right here, is The Big Bow Mystery. This was a book that really caught my eye because I just love the cover. I think it's very pretty. It's tiny as well, but it took me so long to read this. Like, this is the first locked room mystery book. So this is the first book that takes place in a room that has been locked and a person in there has been murdered and nobody knows how that happened. So I feel like I expected this to be a criminal novel, but it actually wasn't so much. It was more like a, I don't know, like a more political book, because the person that was murdered was a politically active person, and so they think maybe his career is the reason why he was killed, but then there's all these other little intrigues that happen in this book, so that the actual investigation is very minimal and you don't really see a lot of that. And then there's also this whole thing where the wrong person is accused and you see the trial and stuff like that, which is kind of scary because he didn't do it and you know that, and it's very scary. So the end of this is a surprise. I found it completely surprising. I didn't expect that at all. Even though the author told us in the beginning that the perpetrator or the killer is actually the one person you'd expect least, but it still surprised me, so that was good. But apart from that, this book just dragged on way too long. I found the language very difficult to get into because it's not my mother tongue, so it's extremely difficult for me to read these classic books because this was actually published in the 19th century. So that was 3 stars for me. Then the next book I've read is The Ocean at the End of the Lane. I don't quite remember if I gave it like 3.5 or 4 stars. It's a cool book, but I just was expecting something completely different. Like, this was just nothing at all what I thought it would be, because it's actually a fantasy novel, and I didn't know that, because from the title I was expecting something different. And I liked a lot of the things in this book, especially the girl character. I forgot her name now, Letty. I think she's a really cool character, and I can relate to the way he looks up to her a lot, because I had a similar figure in my life. And I also liked the fantasy aspects of it, but then the end got a little bit out of hand for me. I don't know, I just didn't feel this book. Maybe I was in the wrong mood to read it or something like that, but it just didn't do the job for me, I would say. So as I said, I think it's around a 3.5 or 4 star rating for me. And then the last book I read is a German book. It's called Honig Tod, and it's by Hanni Münzer, which is a German author, I guess. And this is a book about a family, I would say. It's blurbed like it's a love story, but it's not. It's a family story about a mother and a daughter during the Second World War, basically. So it starts off with this actress. No, she's not an actress, she's a singer. and she is married to a Jewish doctor. And then it starts in the 20s, in the 1920s, and then it just tells the story throughout the World War. And obviously the Jewish doctor gets missing because he's Jewish, and he tried to escape the country with his family. And also their children, they're half Jewish, which is a big problem obviously in the Nazi Reich. And yeah, so it's about the mother and the daughter and how they try to save their family. And it's a cruel book, it's incredibly cruel. It took me a lot to finish this, but I read it on the plane when we were going to and returning from Venice. So I didn't really have a chance. I just finished it. But it's very hard to get through. There is a lot of content warning, like violence, I don't even know the English words for that, sexual abuse, sex when you don't want it, and oh, what's the word? I don't know. It's not important, but it's just all in there, and it's very cruel, dying and stuff like that. So, well, this got from quite a boring story that was very distant, you didn't really feel the characters at all, to a very violent, cruel story where you just wanted it to be over because there was so much suffering. So I don't know whether I like this book or not. The first part was very slow and the writing style is very weird, so you never get connected to the characters. Like, there's a lot of bad things happening, but you just can't get that connection. Also, there's this whole frame that is set in our time, which I hated. I think that's just rubbish. That could easily go away. Yeah, I didn't need that at all, but that's just a very small part of the book. So again, I think I would give this book around 3.5 or 4 stars, something like that, because it's just too boring in the beginning and too cruel in the end to be very enjoyable. So that was the books that I've read. Now let's talk about some TV shows. I don't know what the last thing that I told you was, but we finished Penny Dreadful. Penny Dreadful. I loved the first 2 seasons of that. It has been my favorite TV show of all time. I love Eva Green to pieces, but honestly, the last episode just left me so frustrated. It was all so rushed and irrational, and it just ruined the whole thing for me, because I just sat there and I was like, okay, well, if they'd done that right in the beginning, all of the suffering and all of everything, it just would have gone away. So why didn't they? And yeah, it was such a pointless ending, and I think it has something to do with the fact that they wanted it to be 4 seasons, but then the 4th one got cancelled and they had to finish the story somehow. So that's what it feels like. It's just not good, and I'm so sad because this is like the best TV show I've ever seen, and they ruined it. So that was disappointing. I think the new characters in the 3rd season are amazing. I wanted to see so much more of them. I fell in love with Dr. Sweet. He's so cool. I love him. He's so adorable. So yeah, that was very sad. So after that we decided to watch the new season of From Dusk Till Dawn, which is kind of my guilty pleasure, to be honest. I'm not quite sure whether the series is done now. I don't know, it just felt like it. Like it was the final season, but I don't know. Yeah, it's just a guilty pleasure, to be honest. We were super confused when we started this season, just because like the first episode doesn't take off where you left in the 2nd season. I don't know, it's just really weird. We got really confused and then started watching the last episode of season 2 again, just so we know what's going on. And that was a little bit weird, but other than that, I think it's just quite enjoyable. I like the girl characters that are all very strong, but also very naked. I don't know, I just like that. Yeah, it's, as I said, just a guilty pleasure show for me. I really liked it. And then let's talk about two movies. The first one would be Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children. I was very hesitant to watch this, but I love Eva Green, so I had to. And yeah, I don't know. Oh gosh, that ending though, what happened? Like, I didn't expect anything special, to be honest. I just wanted to see Eva Green and be happy. But they completely ruined the whole movie with this ending. It's just ridiculous. And I always thought that the book ending was quite good. It was very interesting and you were ready to see where it's going, where I felt like the pacing of the book itself is very weird and I just had a hard time getting into this. With the movie, it's just so weird. It's so weird. Also, I feel like there's only one character that really stood out to me, and that is, I think Enoch? I don't know how to say his name, but he's really cute. I think he plays that role very well because he's actually the only child that I believe is so very old. All the other ones are just childs to me, or children, childs, what? You know what I mean, children to me. And yeah, I don't know, I just didn't believe what I saw and I hated the ending. It was just so weird. I don't know what happened with this movie. And then the other movie I saw with my best friend, that is Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. I'm actually wearing a look inspired by Queenie right now. I did the tutorial for that a second ago and I just loved this movie. Like, I've heard many people complain about it because it's just a setup for the second movie, but honestly, I loved it. I think the first part of it, where you're just there and wandering and looking at all these beautiful creatures and these beautiful humans that they found for this movie, I feel like it was just so incredible. And I was there with my best friend and we had the chance to really look at all these things and find all the little details that are just fantastic and stuff like that. So I feel like that was the best thing about this movie. Honestly, I didn't mind the storyline at all. I think the ending got really intense and I was just watching the movie with my mouth open, hoping that anything or everything would be okay. And the only thing I hate in this movie is Johnny Depp. Like, why did that happen? It's so cruel to me. Like, why would you put Johnny Depp in this movie? He just doesn't fit in at all. I don't get it. So that was quite disappointing and I was hoping that he wouldn't be in the first movie at all, but he made a little entrance at the end. So that is something that really bothers me, but other than that, I really like the movie. I think it's such a feel-good movie and that's just the kind of movie I wanted to see right now. So that would be all for this video, I would say. I would love to hear your opinion on any of these things and topics down below. I'd love to discuss with you and I will talk to you soon. Bye!